Seattle's history. In the 1870s, as the country celebrated its 100th anniversary and was pushing its border westward, Seattle was seen as a wild frontier. Alaska South, a town near the debated border of British-controlled Canada. It first made headlines in 1889 when it burned to the ground. The city was rebuilt, and by 1893, a national rail line reached Seattle. After World War II, Seattle's economic backbone was the Boeing industry. Boeing is such a huge presence that when we were driving to the airport, I thought the Boeing facility was the actual airport because there were so many planes sitting in front of it. Outside of Boeing, Seattle thrived thanks to its natural resources. There was a large union presence with ties to shipbuilding, fishing, and logging. Then, in a gutsy move of self-confidence, the provincial town audaciously agreed to host the 1962 World's Fair. The iconic Space Needle was built to represent the city of the future. Other monuments built for the World's Fair include the Eiffel Tower in 1889, the Palace of Fine Arts in 1915, and China Pavilion in 2010. The World Fair is currently being held in Osaka, Japan through October, and the next one will be in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia in 2030. Maybe it was the fair that sparked Seattle's fascination with innovation, because it became a hotbed for tech and retail revolutionaries. Nordstrom's flagship store, which opened in 1901 as a shoe store, had grown into one of the largest retailers in the world by the 1960s. Bill Gates and Paul Allen set up Microsoft's headquarters in the cloudy town. A local coffee bean wholesaler in Pike Place became Starbucks. Costco opened its first warehouse in 1983 in the nearby town of Kirkland. Jeff Bezos founded Amazon just across Lake Washington in Bellevue. Not everybody was necessarily happy with the infiltration of tech wealth into their city. Local musicians turned the distortion up to 10 and started the grunge movement. Bands like Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, and Soundgarden wrote some of the best angst-filled music ever. Ironically, the Seattle grunge movement also helped put Seattle on the map as a cool city center that fueled more transplants. On to our trip. We flew out of a packed LAX on Juneteenth. Seattle's Link Light Rail 1 line took us from SeaTac to downtown in about the same time as a car would have. It runs north to south for now, with slow-going plans to expand east to west. From the above-ground track, we got our first peek at the city. I had asked ChatGPT to suggest neighborhoods for a couple in their 30s who like strolling, people-watching, and cool architecture. It mentioned Columbia City, but our only look was from the train. Lots of new apartments going up. We arrived at Westlake Station and passed a hot dog vendor playing Janet Jackson, Luther Vandross, and Ashanti. Did you know there's such a thing as a Seattle dog? It has cream cheese on it, which obviously just enhances the hot dog experience. It was only about 6 hours of travel door to door from LA to the hotel room. Our first stop was the Fremont neighborhood, known for its unique and independent spirit and labels itself as the center of the universe. Home to tech startups, unusually designed storefronts, and a giant troll under a bridge, Fremont's motto is the Libertas Quirkas, or the freedom to be peculiar. We took the bus there, sharing it with what looked like a lot of tech workers who were just getting off their shifts. We had dinner at a Korean restaurant called Revel, which was a forgettable experience. Afterwards, we walked up and down the main thoroughfare of 36th Street looking for a place to watch the second half of Game 6 of the NBA Finals. We stumbled into Triangle Spirits to find the Pacers were dismantling the Thunder, much to my betting chagrin. After that, Taylor recommended that we go to Addaball, which was the highlight of the night. Cheap drinks, quarter arcade games, and great vibes. I beat Taylor at Pong, but she beat me at Pac-Man. As it was the first night of the vacation, we made the mistake of continuing the night, wobbling towards Stampede Cocktail Club where we got $18 cocktails that neither of us enjoyed. To wash the taste out of our mouths, we bought cigarettes at 7-Eleven and then found our way to the patio of LTD Bar and Grill to secretly smoke cigarettes with our beers. Somehow, we made it back to the hotel in one piece. Fremont was a success. The first full day of vacation is always the most exciting. Waking up in a new and exciting place with the expanse of your agenda stretching before you. The chilly, overcast quelled our less than fresh bodies, and we headed a few blocks west to the world-renowned Pike Place in search of pastries and coffee. We went to La Panier to get the best croissant I've had outside of France, then Storyville to get an excellent cup of coffee in a beautiful environment. Later, we hit the Ballard neighborhood, based on a bartender's tip. We took the D line, which looks like a train on Google Maps, but it's just a run-down bus. The neighborhood was quiet in the middle of the workday, but was still charming, with several boutique storefronts, restaurants, and craft beer breweries. Taylor was desperate for some water, and after walking into 3 different gift shops, we finally found some at Sabine Cafe and Bar. Equipped with watermelon juice for maximum hydration, we walked into Slim Goody, which is a colorful and cool sports bar and restaurant with bright colors and hundreds of televisions. We walked toward the Ballard Locks, an institution in the neighborhood. They are a complex of locks that connect the salt water of the Puget Sound with the fresh water of Lake Union. They're the busiest locks connecting saltwater and freshwater in the United States by boat traffic, and we were lucky enough to see a boat traveling across them. It's a slow process and honestly a little dull, but there were tons of locals lined up watching the boats rise and fall, which made me feel like we were having a unique experience. There's also a fish ladder inside that allows migrating salmon to travel upstream to spawn. We made our way south from Commodore Park to Kiwanis Memorial Preserve Park, crossing a breathtaking bridge surrounded by greenery in the process. On our walk to dinner, we passed by a desolate pike place. I thought it was fascinating to compare the empty storefronts of the evening with the bustling storefronts of the morning. Dinner at 6-7 was unforgettable. We sat in a huge booth overlooking the entire restaurant and enjoyed sunset views. We ordered surf and turf. The food and service was incredible. The bill was like $300, but somehow felt worth it. We got a nightcap at Pub 70. The next morning, feeling a little sharper, we grabbed un bien sandwiches per Mike's recommendation. They were delicious, messy, and cheap. We also stopped by Cafe Vita, where there was the kindest barista I had ever seen. She had something nice to say to everybody that was there. Everybody we spoke to was incredibly hospitable and kind. Next up on our journey was Everett.